Welcome to the CookUp. And today we have a very exciting pot for you. It's very tasty, very delicious. And you see that beautiful opening? It was done by Stephen Smith of Blue Torch Productions. Now we also want to thank all of the traditional knowledge bearers who took part in that intro. Now you hear me speaking a bit sultry. I have a little cold, but guess what? The show must go on. And I know our knowledge bearer here today is Jeremiah Stanley Carey. He's looking forward to today's show. And on the CookUp, we will be serving copious conversation on cultural heritage and the 5 ICH domains. So the question I have for you today is, tell me what are the ICH domains. My name is Alicia Daniel Blake. I am the Research and Communications Officer at the Department of Creative Economy in the Ministry of Sports and Creative Economy. So joining us today, officially, we have Jeremiah Stanley Carey. Now everybody knows him as Stanley, and he is an ancestral mummy. Now our friends looking at us last week, I asked you to let me know what name you preferred. Was it that you preferred CookUp Connoisseurs? And then we had a suggestion from our guest, Heather Archibald. She suggested CookUp Foodies, but I'm leaning towards CookUp Connoisseurs. And you can find us on Facebook at SKNICH or ICHSKN, on YouTube at St. Kitts Culture, and on Twitter or X at St. Kitts Culture. So welcome, Stanley. Now, your official name is Jeremiah Carey.
Yeah,
How did you come about to be called Stanley by everybody?
Well, my father's name was Jeremiah, you know. So when I born early on a Christmas Day, I called Jeremiah by my mother. Then my uncle, who died in the UK, England, he brought my name. They said they used to bring people name, and I was maybe a bit troubled child, so he might have tried to give me some of his protection by if you don't give the baby them name. That's our whole cultural heritage. If you don't give the baby the name, the dead take it and that. So I name after my uncle Stanley, and I name Jeremiah after my father.
Okay, nice. Now, as an ancestral mummy, your craft falls under the domain of performing arts, and the element is the ancestral mummies. Now, we are going to look at a short clip which shows you in action.
What I will see that dragon before I die. Clip I shall clip his wings. Therefore I shall not fly.
Who is it that seeks the dragon's blood? That speaks so mighty and so loud? That great English dog that looks so proud? St. George, boy, if I catch you with my claws and hunger jaws and bite off your skull to increase my appetite for more. For marrow from your bones I will squeeze. Your blood I will suck to degrees and make you fall on your knees and bawl and beg, oh, dragon, please.
Welcome back, CookUp Connoisseurs. Now, Stanley, we saw that clip from last year's folklore competition. What was happening there?
Well, what happened there, that part of the particular was St. George against the dragon. St. George against the dragon is a very historical part in our history that we are not aware of. St. George is a black Ethiopian Christian Orthodox. Now in the West we have Catholic and Anglican, but it was the African saints who brought the Christian tradition to Europe, and the black Muslim brought the Muslim to Spain and Portugal and things. They were Moors.
Okay. So all of this seems to be brought out in rhyme. It's like reciting of poetry. Tell us, take us back in time. How did this get started, and why was it decided to do this in poetry? Is it that you are educating your audience?
Our ancestors want to put the folklore to a great educational meaning, in spite of the fact that people think it's a puppy show. It's a great street theater that represents our past. And our ancestors with the mummies reciting, they are laying you to know, well, from time we've done this so you could learn who St. George is, who St. Patrick is. The St. Patrick, he taught the Irish, St. George taught the English. So these black Africans came and they brought these things to Europe, medicine, everything and so. So they want to remind us of what we did and who we are and what we achieved. So playing the mummies, St. George against the dragon, have proven that we've conquered the Italians and the Romans, for they haven't conquered Ethiopia and they haven't conquered Sudan and that part of particular, but Hannibal and other black Ethiopians and African ancestors have ruled Europe and built the Romans wall of London and built these Moorish castle in Spain, where before Columbus was told by them that he could navigate and travel. So we now have become Saint Columbus, but England is Saint George, Boston is Saint George, Saint Christopher now get the honor of a saint. So our saints have taught them, so they could now come around pretending they're teaching us. So we got parishes now after saints, but some of them is British saints, like Saint Elizabeth, and you know, that's a British.
Saint John.
Yeah, but Saint Peter's is what they use in Santo Domingo for their cultural day, the folklore of migrant workers that left St. Kitts, and St. Peter's Day in Santo Domingo. They perform Montserrat, they use St. Patrick Day. But we don't seem to use St. George, we use it for our emancipation. So this mummies, giant spear, David and Goliath, and 12 tribes of Israel is to remind us who we are in our folklore and in our street theater.
Okay. So it can actually give us a sense of pride in where we came from.
And where we stand for, and it's very biblical.
Okay. So tell us a bit about the costume now. You have it right next to you. Tell us the different parts. Maybe you can lift up the hat.
The hat.
How do you make the hat? How you came about it?
Well, the hat made from sheep skin and maybe goat skin sometime. The sheep skin, represent the shepherd, whether any David and Goliath, any mummies, or even the Scandinavian in Norway and in Sweden. They were ruled by Egyptians as well. I can tell by their boats. So this is a good winter hat. It's also a good crown for a king, you know, whether it's Mansa Musa or whether it's any of the great African legends. It shows a very, very good resemblance of wealth, the way it's done up, even though you find the sheik and them man wouldn't be wearing the hat as much as King David men, and you see some of the African man using the panther skin, they would use the deer skin.
Okay. So question. Are all of the mummies' hats made from sheepskin?
No, mummies' hats are made to suit different characters.
So which character this hat belongs?
This character is like for St. George. I play this part. Another tall, shine silver hat with the cross that would represent the knights. And also Saladin from Persia, who was also a great Polish Muslim hero to the Polish people and to Southern people in Babylon. That's so the mummies is also showing you different countries and different culture battling for biblical spoiled.
All right. So tell us about some of the other parts of the costume.
Well, the other part of the costume and the most vital part of the costume apart from the garment, it is a garment of a king. The costume, you could tell, this skirt cape
Yes.
showing the different brooch and monument of hero-ness and what battle you've won and so. And the cape is always a good symbol of our kings of the past too. Got on the national flag, make it thing and so. Yes, so the costume now come down to the whip and the power lie in the whip. So come Christmas and Emancipation Day, we're going to take it to the street with whip to show our colonizers and our slave masters we in charge today. For the whip is the force police. This was given to the plantation owner down to the overseer, and it demands and dictate the punishment of our slave. This now been handed to the police and like politicians and other leaders. For we coming through colonialism. What we relying on surviving from is what our colonial masters have set in place. So we say, Christmas come, we got the whip now. You ain't gonna crack over we back. We're gonna crack it in the street. We're gonna kill the bull. We're gonna put the clown to police with the whip. So we do this on our own. The whip now is a good emblem of history. Where they're saying cow skin make whip and whip turn round beat the cow. The cow skin produce the material and the sheep. It was black hands who make the whip, and then the whip strike against the black man back in the field. It's a kind of riddle.
Got it. So basically, just tell me if I'm on the right track. You are saying that whereas the whip was a way to keep the enslaved in control, the enslaved then turned it around and said, I am now in control of what controlled me previously.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a quick break right now, Stanley.
Yeah.
And CookUp connoisseurs, we'll be right back.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing. But hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para cortar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Welcome back, CookUp connoisseurs, and we continue our very educational conversation with Stanley and Ancestral Mummy. So before we continue, there is a little clip that we want to show again. Stanley, let's have a look. CookUp connoisseurs, you too.
Okay.
Who is it that seeks the dragon blood? Who speaks so angrily and so loud? That English dog, those so tall and proud. If I should catch them in my claws, with my long teeth and thorough jaws, I will bite off half their score. To increase my appetite, for I will eat more. I place my ferocious fangs into their flesh, rip the very flesh off their bone. Marrow! From those bones I will squeeze, I will drink royal blood to 100 degrees. Music!
All right, Stanley, tell us, what was happening in that clip?
What was happening is a clip that in my workplace there's a lovely lady who is related to Mrs. Harris. She happened to be Mrs. Daniel. She mentioned that her aunt will be making 102. That's a very honorable thing for me to hear. I love to hear our people and our ancestors have lived that age and has got knowledge and is in a position to still be with us. So I thank God for people like that. So from I hear that, I ask the opportunity to go and perform for her.
All right. So she is located at St. Peter's. That's
Yeah.
Esther Harris, or better known as Auntie Gussie.
Okay.
Yes. So do you do this often? Is this type of volunteer activity something that you do?
Yeah. I is the first person in the carnival and culture to have a disabled queen. Including and inviting and involving everybody, show our strength and it show full unite and how effective we could be in our community to show passion for the elderly, the sick and the vulnerable, rather than they feel denied and terrible in that state. So I am a volunteer to go and dance for old people, the poor man, so rather than to be in the street and get run over by a car.
Okay.
So when Ben Jeffrey making his 100 next year, I'll be performing for him. Anybody have the elderly and just home, depressed and bored, I will come and entertain them. That is better than money.
Okay. So you heard it here first, folks. Now, you are also passing on your craft with younger persons in our society. I know for a fact that you were one of the facilitators at the ICH Core Knowledge Camp that was held last December, and you are going to do the same thing again during the summer from July 29th to August 2nd, and then again in December 9th to the 20th. What takes place at these camps for these students?
We try to teach the youths them clown, mummies, masquerade, macajumbi, especially the distinctive part of the folklore that is dying out. We want that to survive and be maintained in our culture and tradition. Is one way to kill a people is to kill their culture. When we ain't got kusada, dashing food and what our culture is, we're going to die out. So we now have to promote our culture.
So you are assisting us at the department in safeguarding the intangible cultural heritage. So at the camp, your mummies, are the children receptive? Do they accept the information? Do they like it? What happens?
They do. The children them like it. Knowledge store. Is knowledge wasted? If knowledge is not passed down to the children, the knowledge is not going to carry on. If our children can't inherit better than us, it better we give up. We have to program the children them with positivity. Then you have a better society and a better community.
All right. Now at the end of the camp, the children were able to perform in the carnival. Did any little mummies perform last year?
Yeah, the little mummies perform as a group in the children carnival, and they've survived because we are the young group. The old mummies is able to survive. Old people going out, young people coming up, we have to build the youths them. When I ain't here and I ain't show them and teach them, the mummy is dead because the older people them ain't take it to the youths.
Is there something done in the schools as well?
Yeah, well, I sacrifice time and my own ability financially and everything. And we go to Newton Ground and we developing up a bull without, limited support. We try because Newton Ground is the heart of the bull. The bull place take on Bellman Estate. Okay. And it might even be a time when we might forbid to go there. Bellman Estate is in our history. Because after Davis there and he run in a plantation and he is cruel to the enslavers in Newton Ground. So when he can manage the bull properly and he send for Pleasant and workers to help him manage the bull, that man damage the bull. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Now, how many troops are there? It was mentioned that it's the Tabernacle Ancestral Mummy troops. Are there any others besides the young group that you are working with in the core camp? Or is this the last troop of mummies in Tabernacle?
Mummies is dying out where it's like me alone from Tabernacle now, and you got a drummer in Newton Ground, Kennedy. You got Mighty, who is Michael Carr. He been playing the mummies long before me, and so other guys who father and teach them, and so they don't really want to perform. So we just really depending on a lot of kids and young people now to participate to keep the culture alive and to keep the music existence. For the mummies, music is dying out. The clown music is dying out. The cowboy and Indian music is dying out.
The mummies' music, how is it different from the other cultural performers' music?
The mummies, the Goliath, the bull, whatever troop it is, they have a different beat and a different thing of music. Even if you got two masquerade troop, the music is slightly different. We've been able to tell a troop based on the way the music is playing, but it's saying you don't know what the drum is saying. The mummies' drum is kindle a different battle. taking place. For the drum is a very intelligent thing. The drum is very intelligent. That's why we were forbidden to play the djembe drum to communicate, to send message and answer. So we were given the boys' brigade drum and had to make other drum in our day of our colonizers to play in fear that we interpret in roots. When Kunta hear the drum, he said, that's man ding a drum. And he think and Kunta run away. So the Mummies drum now we got hurrah, which is a quadrille. And we do a little thing. And he got two good Mummies drummers. He got Mr. Davis in Molyneux, and he got Kennedy Francis in Newton Gong. So the Mummies music is a different beat completely to the masquerade. It is the same call, hurrah, hurrah, a king is on the sea with the quadrille, but it is a different beat completely to the masquerade.
All right. So
and another thing with the drum, we were given the boys' brigade drum.
Okay.
It's the boys' brigade drum we use, and the barrel drum. The drum were made from them naghead barrels. That's the first kind of Mummies drum. We now resolved to using a smear drum from a drum kit. But the instruments were very handmade. That I met from a child. All the instruments were more handmade.
All right. Cook-up connoisseurs, please forgive me. I'm sounding a little bit even more sultry, but listen to me. We are going to get through this show, and Stanley, you're going to be right here with us.
Okay.
And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Health-wise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. She pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up. Not even in my dreams.
Cook-up connoisseurs, welcome back to the Cook-up Cultural Kitchen. We are cooking up some cook-up with Stanley. Stanley, now, just before we continue with you, remember, Cook-up connoisseurs, I asked you to communicate with us. Join our cook-up conversation, and you can do that by going to any one of our platforms. We have on Facebook at SKN ICH or ICH SKN, and on YouTube we have St. Kitts Culture. Also on Twitter or X we have St. Kitts Culture. So tell us the name that you prefer and tell us the 5 ICH domains. Stanley, how many years have you been performing, and when were you first a mummy?
Mummy, I is a mummy captain from a youth. Much sport never used to come to Tabernacle. See, the mummy come up, you might get to look to people leg and see it because you is not old enough. It was something about the troops and the sport. If the brothers took you on their shoulder to look over the crowd and see it, you will cry. It's something like an arch that would memorize you. That every troop, even if it's one daughter, have this distinctive look. And as a child, I think you could see something more than adults. So, we used to see something more in the troops and in the costume. So I used to wait till maybe when I'm 7, 9, 10, when I'm older and so on. When the mummies then come and we don't see them play, we go and practice in the January, we make our own drums, go around playing in front of people's home, making a bit of money to buy school books and to have fun with a school opening. We will play a bit of cowboy and Indian and bull too. Whatever troop we see come, we try to play. But the mummies seems to touch a deep part in my soul, the rooted thing. The reciting. The distinctiveness of the costume, the art form, the way they fight the stick and what it meant, and the teachings I get from it. Like the Black Prince of Palestine, like the King of Egypt. And you know, so now I come all, I become an education in me to look for the parts, look for the people who play this part and where they're from, and realize it's a real living legendary story.
Okay. So CookUp connoisseurs, that was your invitation to become a mummy. Because as Stanley has brought out, it is something that touched him deeply. It's also educational. So Stanley, that is marvelous. So tell us now, there's something that you touched on earlier that I want you to dig a little deeper into. Is there a need for perception change? Because you mentioned earlier, sometimes the folklore is not taken seriously. Is it something only just for Culturama or Carnival, those times of the year? What's the perception that people have? Do you think it is something that should change? Because you mentioned it a bit earlier.
I think we haven't realized how important this thing is to us and what it warrants us. That's why we can win Carry Festa. And that's why we can go away and win with what we have. Because I haven't seen much people have a bull band as creative as us. I haven't seen a string band and and other things like that, and the Makajumbi band. And so what I've seen here, I haven't seen elsewhere, nowhere in the world, and more than Kitishon took it other places. So we have got a high standard, a plat and instrument strings made up.
Okay. All right. So you're basically saying this is a rich cultural heritage.
A very rich cultural
that we
heritage.
have all of the folklore. Because yes, I know there are Makajumbis in Spanish, our Spanish neighbors, there are Makajumbis. Is it Aruba?
Masquerade bomb, you would have the gombe.
Right. Virgin Islands Makajumbis, masquerades all over in our region.
Migrant workers from St. Kitts travel and take this culture worldwide to other places, England, Canada, America, and wherever you will see these great art skills in folklore. Most of it come from St. Kitts Nevis.
There you go. So Stanley, give me 1 second. CookUp connoisseurs, I want to remind you about a few things that are going on in our Department of Creative Economy, Cultural Heritage. First of all, as Stanley mentioned, we have the ICH Core Knowledge Camp that he is one of the facilitators at. It runs from July 29th to August 2nd in this first summer vacation. Then it runs from December 9th to December 20th. Parents of school-age children, you have an opportunity to go to the school and get a registration form, and then this will be passed on to our department, and your children can become one of the cultural performers during the Christmas carnival season. And of course, we'll be having a show every Thursday. So look out for us from the Creative Economy Cultural Heritage. Our show is coming your direction every single Thursday. We also would like to invite persons to view our, to take part in the Sankofa Shorts. It's a competition for 15 to 35-year-olds. Deadline, June 26. We are going to conclude this show by showing you our Sankofa short that we have. It is animated, but your Sankofa short can actually be in person. It can be a people animation, well, not animation, a people skit. So, CookUp connoisseurs, we would like to thank Stanley for being with us. And Stanley, we want you to come back at another point in time.
Okay.
So, CookUp connoisseurs, join the CookUp conversation. Until next time, this is Alicia Daniel Blake, Research and Communications Officer.
Ever struggled to start a fire? Well, forget fancy gadgets. Sometimes the old ways are the best. This old fire stick, easy to catch. Just a flick of the wrist and boom, warm. I wonder if that what Granny mean.
Child, that ain't what I mean. It mean when two people who are once together get back together. It's easy for them. That what I mean by old fire stick easy to catch.
And then she asks her granny if
In the top stories, lift program unveiled. Russian warships reach Cuban waters ahead of military exercises in the Caribbean. And U.S. whole House votes to hold Justice Department chief in contempt. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today's Thursday, June 13th, 2024. I'm Scotty C. Hendrickson. Nationally, Lift St. Kitts and Nevis, or Livelihood Improvement for Family Transformation, is the newest social program launched by the government to assist families. The initiative was unveiled on June 13th at the Solid Waste Management Conference Room on Thursday. Minister of Youth Empowerment, Aging and Disabilities, Honorable Iseline Phillip, gave some insight into the objectives of the program.
Benefits are targeted to persons earning less than $2,500 per month, and benefits will only be provided to top up beneficiary income to a maximum of $2,500 per month. This new policy takes immediate effect and will be enforced among all current and new LIFT beneficiaries. For current beneficiaries, that is those transitioned from the PAP, who earn between $2,100 and $2,500 of income, they will be impacted by a benefit rate adjustment, which is intended to equalize the distribution of benefits in accordance with this new policy. For new applicants, approved benefits will be calculated to not exceed the maximum threshold of $2,500 when combined with verified income.
Permanent Secretary Azilla Clark spoke about the application process.
Following verification, all applicants who meet the eligibility criteria of earning less than $2,500 per month for the individual or family unit will form the pool of eligible applications from which approvals will be made. Approval will be made based on the priority groupings as outlined by Minister Phillip. These are individuals and families that are unemployed, especially those with children, single-parent families, persons with disabilities, caregivers of children with disabilities, and seniors, particularly those receiving minimal pension benefits and having no other source of income.
LIFT replaces the People's Alleviation Program, also known as PAP, and will take effect immediately. The William Marcus Natta Memorial Scholarship Fund will present scholarships and other tokens to students of the Tucker Clark Primary School and the Irishtown Primary School in recognition of their academic excellence. According to a press statement issued on Wednesday, the fund provides financial and educational assistance to the students who are also of sound moral character and has a strong sense of community service. The awards ceremony will be held at the Newtown Community Center on Tuesday, June 18th, under the theme, Raise Your Hand. 25 students have received assistance from the fund to date, exceeding 16,000 EC dollars in monetary contributions and 15,000 EC dollars in school supplies. The Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis, has received a special invitation to deliver remarks at the upcoming St. Kitts Nevis Circle of Care Dinner Gala in Ontario, Canada, scheduled for Sunday, June 16th, 2024. Expressing his anticipation for the event, Premier Brantley stated, "I look forward to engaging with our diaspora in Canada and to update them on the developments in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Circle of Care contributed significantly to St. Kitts and Nevis during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I look forward to being able to thank them publicly for their humanitarian assistance." The gala, themed We're Back, will also feature the esteemed Division artist, director, decorator, designer, and photographer, Mr. Vaughn Aslin. The St. Kitts Nevis Circle of Care is a charitable organization based in Canada, dedicated to raising funds to provide tangible assistance for seniors and indigent residing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Over the years, the organization has made significant contributions to the welfare of seniors in the Federation, including the Flamboyant Home for the Elderly in Nevis by donating medical equipment, supplies, and essential personal care items. In regional news, a fleet of Russian warships reached Cuban waters on Wednesday ahead of planned military